Manchester City looking good, aren't they, for a place in the Champions League after that 3-1 victory over Bournemouth. Taking a look at those who weren't in the squad, and it's interesting, Pep Guardiola was talking about the size of the squad going into the start of next season. Here's what he had to say.
A lot of people are talking about the transfers that might come in this summer, but do you actually need a smaller squad now?
No, I don't want that. I said to the club, I don't want that.
You want smaller?
And I don't want to give 5-6 players in the tribune. I don't want that. I will quit. If don't make it shorter a squad, I will not stay. It's impossible. It's impossible for my soul to give the players in the tribune where they cannot play. Now it happened because we add for players, and immediately it was maybe 3 or 4 months we could not select 11 players. We don't have defenders. It was so difficult. And after, okay, the people come back, but next season cannot be like that. I cannot, as a manager, I cannot be training 24 players and every time we're selecting, I have to be 4, 5, 6 players stay in Manchester at home because cannot be go to play. This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. I said to the club, so I don't want that.
Jeff? Hi, Pep. Does that mean that there will be sort of exits this summer?
No, I don't know. I should stay, but it's a problem, a question of the club. So, but I don't want to have 24, 25, 26 players when everybody is fit. If I have injuries, I'm lucky. We have some players in the academy, we do it. But cannot stay for the emotional, for the soul of the team. I could create another connection between each other that this season lost it a little bit with the players, like they know week by week stay at home. You are a journalist, right? Imagine your boss say, no, you are not going to write, you are not going to write that articles. What do you say? I'm going to know what I'm doing here. So the player has to be here to fight between them to play, and have to be a right number. There's a lot of injuries, unlucky, but we have to do it.
How are you selecting those players at the moment? Because obviously you left a couple out of the cup final, and then Savinho.
Yeah, I try to for example, Echeverri, for example, is incredible good in smaller spaces when the team defends so deep, like Southampton and Crystal Palace. Against Bournemouth, it's a more transitional team, open. Echeverri still is not ready to play these type of games. Or maybe he's ready, but I didn't see him, I don't realize. So that's why, and after that, okay, the previous game was some players, and maybe in Sunday will be another one. So it's a headache. So yesterday I spent more than 45 minutes with 6 players. 6, no 1 or 2, 6 players were at home. So I don't like that. I don't like it.
I don't know about you guys. I'm confused.
So the squad's too big, and he's got to tell people they're not playing, and that's exhausting for him. You go out in January, and then you bring in 3 new players because you've got to...
And he had to spend 45 minutes with them yesterday. 45 minutes. They lost in the cup final, by the way. What's the excuse for that? And also, the first question asked him about, do you want a smaller squad?
Right.
And he said no. He went, I'll quit. I mean, am I missing something? What am I missing?
He was talking about signings coming in, wasn't he, and the size of the squad.
He's moaning about players being injured, so when players are injured, you need a beefier squad.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're screwed.
But now everyone's fit, and he's got to deal
Now he doesn't want to leave people at home, because that's leaving people at home and you have to give them bad news. That's part of the job. I mean, he's already flagging. I mean, I've said this all along. I think the big question here, and I think he's concerned about it, is if Liverpool and Arsenal and others are strong again next year, are they and is he up for the task, up for the fight? And that interview was kind of, it was very convoluted.
No, and it's interesting when you take a look at that full screen that we put up, you look at the players that were left out, these aren't players that necessarily are guaranteed a starting place somewhere else, Stevie.
Yeah.
This isn't... you haven't got 2 great players at every position.
That's the confusing thing for me. You know, we're not talking about World Cup winners or perennial champions or that have been involved. You're talking about players that probably wouldn't be playing anyway if everybody was fit.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult conversation. Savinho hasn't played well. Rico Lewis had a good period. Kusanov's had a nightmare. And the rest of them are... And Carson's a sub-goalie who's, I think, about 57. So, I mean...
The strangest thing, by the way, why is he saying, if they do, I'll leave? Why would you say that?
So from a coach's hat, do you understand his is sentiments regarding trying to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, of course you do. It's the same. It's a situation that we complain about Chelsea. They had too many so-called first-team players, and so to try and mould a unit together with all the other stuff that you need, you know, the togetherness and the trust, all of those things that are not football-related on the field, it's very difficult, and we've seen that at Chelsea over the last 3 years. But as I said, to turn around and say if they do that, I'm going to leave, that smacks of somebody who's trying to open a door for himself, to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Frank?
Yeah, I know what he was talking. I was thinking about the fact that he will never sign for Chelsea. Too many players, too complicated for him. But that's it. Well, it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, I'm confused about these explanations. And nowadays, you need a certain amount of players, and you have to deal with them. And as a coach, you have to make sure that everybody's happy. But they sign a contract, and you have to make a choice. So you take full responsibility for the decision you're going to make, and it doesn't really matter if somebody has to stay home, another one has to stay on the bench. That's part of the football nowadays. And then if you want to win something, you need a certain amount of player, and he has this amount, and he should deal with that. And if he had too many injuries, maybe he has to check with the fitness coach, with the people who are working on that. Because I remember Arsenal, they had a problem with that, with the physio or with the doctor when I was playing, where they had too many injuries, and they were debating about that. Who is responsible for the fact that some players are injured? Are the players? Are the fitness coach? The preparation that you're having, traveling for commercials and everything, everywhere, especially in the United States? Are they already tired before starting the competition? That's the thing you have to deal as a coach. And nowadays, you have to be ready because you have thousands of people around you to make sure that you have the right amount, you have no player too much injured, and you deal with that.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing how this squad size and telling players they're not playing or they're on the bench or they're not travelling. It's utterly amazing how all of a sudden it's a problem for him when they're not winning. Mm. Did they have a small, when they were dominating English football, when they were not winning the Champions League every year, but they were the strongest team, nobody wanted to play them. And when they won it that year, when they won the league, and they had a big squad, and he was having to tell players they're on the bench, Julian Alvarez and others, or some of them weren't travelling, was it a problem then? No, it wasn't a problem then, because they were winning. It's a problem now because they're losing, and he's using it as an excuse as to why they were losing. Because they had the biggest squad in the Premier League and arguably Europe when they were dominating 5 years in a row, was it? Whatever it was. And it was not an issue back then.